Ethos of Silence.
A veteran podcast aims to amplify the voices of veterans, creating a safe space for authentic conversations about their experiences, challenges, and triumphs. We seek to break the stigma surrounding mental health and foster community support, resilience, and understanding. Through storytelling, expert insights, and candid discussions, we strive to inspire healing, promote awareness, and empower veterans on their journeys.
Welcome.
Doesn't. Of course.
Once again, that's Kevin. Yeah. He's scared of what he's talking about. All right. So, Ethos of Silence. We are back. You got Tim here. Did 10 years in the Marine Corps. And got my buddy Derrick here.
Also, 6 years myself. Wish
Awesome.
I could have done more.
Yeah, don't we all? Well,
Yep.
we play the cards the way they're dealt to us.
Yep.
I think we barely made it out of receiving talking about recruit training, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, maybe we can actually get into recruit training this time.
Yeah. So what was some of the first training, like physical training we got into? Was it them coming in and kind of showing us the way to do things on the quarterdeck? Is that kind of, because I remember them bringing the people who were in the third phase down to us, because I remember, hey, Pinky, let's go show the new kids how to do this shit.
Yep. No, I remember that. You're just, I mean,
it's the perfect definition of iron sharpens iron, right?
Yep.
Because you're physically seeing what's expected of you, and your mouth is fucking dropping at the fact that these guys who have been in recruit training now for 3 months and look like the spawn of Superman, look like Superman's offspring, are up here and they are drenched in sweat. And they're just going. And it's like they're the Energizer Bunny. They don't stop. And you're like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Recruit training, you learn to tap into unknown sources of energy to keep going. The constant mental stresses and whatnot, you find energy resources you didn't know you had.
That builds the ethos of that character, of that Marine,
Like,
of understanding what the depths are. And you thought you were at 100%, but all of a sudden there's another 50% in there.
Yep.
And they know how to get it exactly out of you.
Oh, yeah. They're going to get it out of you, one way or the other. You can either do it the easy way or the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
And usually it was the hard way for me.
It's always the hard way. It's always the hard way.
As my wife now says, I chose violence most of the time. But, Marines can't take the easy route. They just never do.
No.
The hard way is always the more fun way.
Yeah.
For some odd reason.
Yeah. I mean, definitely everything until I got into the air wing, and everything on a training standpoint. I mean, even whenever I'd go do a McMap training, everything would be the hard way. Nothing would be, like, hey, this is how it is. We're going to go at, 20%. We're not going to make sure we're going to hurt anybody. No, it's always 100%. It's always to the wall. It's always, you're trying to better yourself, and you pick different people that are better at different things, and you're trying to get better than each one of them at their specialty.
Mm-hmm. You constantly, the landscape of things changed so much in recruit training. You basically had to almost perfect everything you did, and that's what the drill instructors expected out of you.
But that's almost where the Kill Hat was the most inspirational one there, with the amount of knowledge that he would teach you and the amount of knowledge you were supposed to retain, and the fact that knowledge built these legends up in your head, and you're like, I'm a Marine. I have to live up to this, And I mean, you show up, you don't even rate to have your name on your camis. They got you a little fucking tag that attaches to the button.
And you stamped your name on it. And even that, you thinking, I'm badass now.
Right?
No, you're not. Sit down. You haven't earned that right yet. Oh. But,
I can't believe that we're allowed to wear camis that say Marines on there as recruits.
Oh, you talking about that part of
I'm talking about
training where you get your legitimate name tapes?
Yeah, you get your legitimate name
US
tapes.
Marines
right?
on one side, and you're like, damn,
Yeah.
it's real.
Yeah. I can't believe they didn't wait, until like after the Crucible to give us our name tapes as like a ceremony before we ever get our 11 acres.
Yeah, that was kind of odd, and that you get your first high and tight before you graduate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, getting it before you graduate, I guess I get it. Kind of shape your hair, get your hair to look, because like my mom told me, she saw me run past and was like, "That's not my baby anymore." At Paris Island. I mean, I know I'm jumping way ahead the third phase, but I mean, she saw me running in formation and everything else, and me pass by and like, that's not my baby anymore. What happened to my baby?
Now, one thing I will add on the since we're talking about recruit training, if anybody wants to know what we're talking about, Google a movie called Ears Open, Eyeballs Click. You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Yes, I know.
It is unedited Marine Corps boot camp life. Granted, it's at San Diego, so keep in mind they're in Hollywood.
That is the Hollywood production.
But nonetheless, you'll understand. You watch that. You watch what we're talking about, and then go watch that, and everything will make sense.
Yeah,
it'll really open your eyes.
It does.
My wife can't even make it halfway.
She can't make it halfway through a show, much less imagine the reality.
And I told her, I said, now imagine that was my life for 3 months. She's like, I don't know how you did it. I said, I don't either. I said, I lived it and I don't even know how. I said,
but we said this before. I mean, what was the failure rate? So what was the failure? I think we lost more people throughout receiving that failed hearing test, failed medical exams, failed other things that I don't even understand how they got through a MEP station to go to Paris Island and fail these things. And then I think we lost more people there than we did through training. I mean, I know people cycled back, but I mean,
we even had one.
That would be a hell on earth if for some reason you were a recruit for your entire enlistment.
I wouldn't even want to think about that nightmare.
At what point would that's a hellacious question. At what point do they grant you some leave or have to promote you because of time and grade or
now,
in boot camp?
I don't know if y'all had to deal with this, but we actually had one kid said he was going to off himself.
Okay.
So
you had suicide watch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We had one kid after the very first thing. He wasn't in my platoon. He was actually in my buddy's platoon. He third deck of the barracks. He swam the fucking the pond right there by where we're at to get out of fucking Paris Island. He got picked up at a gas station, brought back the next fucking morning.
They had a recruit. He was in. I was in follow series, but they had.
Nope, I was on the light side. I was lead.
Well, they had a
1003. I was lead.
I was 2045 follow series, third deck. We actually only had 2 follow series platoons. We had first deck, which was 44, nobody in the middle, and then 45 was up topside.
Wow.
On the third deck.
Okay.
Well, we had a lead series recruit. His name was, I'll remember this till the day I die. His name was O'Gara.
Okay.
And everybody called him Ogre. He's a big, goofy looking dude. This dude actually had the balls to swim the swamp.
Yeah.
Try and get off, and he almost made it. That was the weird part. But they picked him up, brought him right back. He actually finished. I don't know. I don't even want to know what his drill instructors did when he got back.
Yeah.
Let's just say he didn't try that again.
Yeah. Well,
but
you punish everybody, and everybody helps him fall in line, and you make it through.
And that's part where all the extracurricular motivational techniques that you saw in Full Metal Jacket. Yeah, some of that stuff really does happen from time to time.
Yeah.
Allegedly. But, some people, after they go through that enough, they start to shape up. And you can see them start coming around.
It's weird. It really is. I don't think in any other environment more mistreatment would cause somebody to grow. You know what I mean? It's not like I can continue to water the crops with Gatorade and they grow.
Yeah. If you've never been through Marine Corps recruit training, then you will never understand the phrase "the beatings will continue until morale improves."
Yeah. Well, you still don't understand it.
Even that you never truly understand.
There's
it.
no way to understand it. There's the pressing the believe button and knowing that the beatings are going to continue until morale improves, and morale just magically improves. And I mean, we still treat people that way when you NJP them or anything else throughout the military. You know, you just continually like, okay, well, you need to check in with the duty this many times an hour and all this other different shit. Like, what the fuck is going on? It's not enough we take their money, take their pay, put them on this, put them on restriction, put them on, like, wow.
I got 2 of them myself.
Right.
Which the first one was, actually, they were both total bullshit, but we'll get to that later. Because that's after recruit training.
Yeah.
Long time after recruit training.
All right, so let's see. What is some of the fun stuff we did in the first phase? It's hard to think, man. It's hard to think. They took us out to the PT fields and just murdered us, and then and then we saw the drill instructors run the obstacle course, and our eyes dropped, and then they'd PT us for, I don't know, an hour and a half, and then they'd have us run the obstacle course.
Oh yeah.
So they made sure that like we were physically had nothing left to give, and then we'd run the obstacle course. And then if you didn't finish the obstacle course in a certain time, you'd have to rerun the obstacle course. And it's just like at the point to where your muscles have given up and you're still trying to run this damn obstacle course.
And be the one to not finish it when you got back to the squad bay. Your ass was grass.
Yeah.
And they had the lawnmower gassed up and ready. Meaning you were going to spend time on the quarter deck until they got tired of being there.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time that I ever ran the O course, because it was behind 2nd Battalion Chow Hall. For some reason, I could not get up the damn rope. I don't know why.
And you just didn't have the technique. You were trying to power it, not using any technique.
Yeah, but once I learned, at another, the drill instructors, you know, the recruits that were making it up the rope, they were having them instruct the recruits that were having trouble. And the one guy that showed me had the trick to the rope, he goes, "You're from the South, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "You climb trees, right?" I was like, "All the time. Every chance I get." He goes, "Dude, it's like climbing a tree." And after that, I could be hanging from the beam where the rope was hanging from in a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
You know, it was all getting out of my own head.
That I'm trying to climb this rope, but instead, you know, realizing that I use my feet to hold on so I can move up higher with my hands. Yeah.
Yep. It was all, you know, once I got in recruit training is you got to be in the right mindset for everything. And that was what was holding me back at first. But once I learned the trick, I was able to change my mindset towards it. And I mean, after that, the O course was nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, we did get a lot of practice on the O course.
Mm-hmm.
Because the drill hat, every now and then after chow, if we had time, he would look at us and go, "Who wants to climb the rope?" Because naturally we couldn't run the entire O course because you had to have a corpsman on standby.
Yeah.
But we could do
individual training segments of it. He could do an individual segment with everybody.
Yep.
Over and over again.
It would always be the rope because that was the quickest and easiest thing to do that we didn't have to have a corpsman on. And it was just a matter of seconds. I was able to get my time up the rope and back down.
That's awesome.
I would try different ways of doing it.
Well, that's the best thing about having the amount of attempts, with the drill instructor taking out there. You got the trial and error to then master what you do, and then also see if there's other techniques that can help you do it better and faster, and all the other fun stuff that goes along with it.
I would always wrap it around my right leg to where the rope was right across my foot.
That way, all you had to do was step down on it to pinch it.
Yep. And
you pull yourself up, and you leave it wrapped around the leg, and you just go up that way. Yeah.
I would first to start. I would jump as high as I could and just get a death grip on it. Hurry up, wrap it around my leg, and then just right up the rope.
Yeah. I think the first time I did the rope, I didn't even use any technique whatsoever. I just went straight muscles all the way the fuck up to the top.
I did try that route. That was a mistake.
Oh, it's definitely a mistake, but that's the way I did it the first fucking time. I did muscles all the way up to the fucking top and muscles all the way the fuck back down, because everybody else around me was worn out way before I ever got worn out. So all the PT and everything else, it was challenging. I was dripping in sweat. I was fucking tired, but I was nowhere near as wiped as everybody else around me. And it probably didn't help that I showed up with pink in my hair. So I had extra training happening. So I was yoked. There's no doubt about it.
Oh yeah. Oh, but you start out recruit training. You're going to the different classes Marine Corps history, and you're doing first aid classes and whatnot.
That's right. All the initial classes before they start testing you on all the stuff.
And then you start McMap, and sometimes we would do McMap in the squad bays if it was raining. PT, that first PT session was kind of a, what the hell are they, what are they wanting us to do here?
Yeah.
Because I know
it was completely unorganized chaos.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think it was designed to be unorganized chaos.
Oh, yeah. Well, eventually, I don't know how it was when you went through, but as far as the runs, we got grouped into 3 separate groups. We had the rabbits, which was the fast guys. Then you had, I forget what they called the intermediates. Then you had the turtles. Well, sadly, I was in the rabbit group because I ran track when I was younger. So
yeah,
running was natural to me. It always has been.
Needless to say, if you'd have known better, you'd have paced yourself and then ended up in that intermediate group, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because on those 3-mile runs, I would hold an average 6-minute mile. That's hard to do.
Yeah.
Especially when your kill hat is the one running you.
Well, and then not just hard to do, it's hard to constantly maintain the fact of doing that with everything else that's going on.
And to compound it and make it even harder to hold a 6-minute pace, you get the classic Indian run. Do a 3-mile Indian run, and you're going to be looking for the tallest building so you can jump off of it.
Especially when you're pacing yourself at, even the turtles were running at like a 20, at like an 8-minute mile. They were running 24-minute pace,
Yeah, they're running a pace that would still qualify in terms of if it was an actual PFT session.
Yeah, exactly. They're running like a 24-minute pace, and they're maintaining a 24-minute pace, and they are smoke checking anybody who can't hold that up.
Oh yeah, that's why I liked the individual effort runs much better, because it was a slower pace, but you still had to put forth max effort because they could tell if you were sandbagging.
Oh yeah.
But
another one of those, the nail that sticks out gets the hammer.
Yeah. But nobody could understand why, when I got to my unit, why I was always the first one to finish the PFT runs. I'm like, well, I was in the rabbit group at the island. So, yeah, I only lost one PFT run in 6 years. And that's because I couldn't find my running shoes, and I had to do a 3-mile boots and utes run. Let's just say I thought about amputating my legs that night.
Yeah. I bet they would be throbbing.
Oh, yeah. put it this way, I had to go take a whiz. I couldn't even get out of bed.
We used to do the Boots and Utes runs on the beach in Pensacola.
Oh God, we did a PFT on the beach in Pendleton. That's a whole new level of pain,
Right.
But anyway, for those that don't know what an Indian run is, you know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Yeah, the guy in the back runs all the way to the front.
You got everybody's running in a single file line. The guy from the back, the last guy has to sprint to the front, and then the next guy sprints. And you keep doing that until you're done with the 3 mile run.
But the problem with the guy who sprints to the front, he's always a blue falcon because he's running, and he doesn't slow down his pace to get to the front. He runs out the fuck. So then you've got the slinky effect of catching up to him real quick. Mm-hmm. With everybody else. So everybody else has to, put a little giddy up in their step every,
We started, when they would Indian run us, we started calling it the death run.
Yeah.
Because you were almost begging for death to come and get you. Because, let's not even get the fact that you're already having to run 3 miles.
Yeah.
But now you're turning it up to 100 and making it exponentially worse than what it already is going to be.
Yeah.
So, you're tired as hell when you run that far. But now you're taking the difficulty up. But after a while, though, like everything else, it starts to where it's not as bad.
Yep.
Like your body is starting to handle it better and better.
But then you understand why they're doing that for the people in the back, because it makes them,
Stronger.
to where they're strong enough, and that group that was running because to qualify to get there, you only had to run a mile and a half the first time, and that's when they put you in your groups. You didn't run a whole 3 miles. It was a mile and a half is the circuit we ran. We ran a mile and a half, and that's what they put us in groups based off of was our mile and a half time.
Yeah, I ran, I still remember that one, my mile and a half time during one of the pulley functions. I had a full tracksuit on, and the closest guy to me was over 45 seconds behind me.
Damn.
And the guy was like, the staffing COIC, it was Staff Sergeant Vado. I remember that goofy, what? He was one of those Marines that I don't think his elevator went all the way up, if you know what I mean.
Oh, man, there's a lot of them.
But he said, dude, if you would have been wearing just shorts and a T-shirt, he said, you would have smoked them even worse. Because, by the time the guy behind me finished, I wasn't even breathing heavy anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I had chilled out and everything, and I forget what that mile and a half time was that day, but I beat him by almost 45 seconds.
That's crazy.
Fully. But, that's all part of the IST.
Yeah.
The initial strength test. And, because you got to, you got to meet a certain standard before they'll even let you go. And if you don't meet that standard, you're not shipping.
But that's a good thing. You know what I mean? The fact that them meeting that standard means that when they put you in the turtle platoon, because you meet that standard, they have a benchmark to help you grow from and get there. So they double check you've got that standard when you get to the island, and go from there. I'm extremely surprised that it's that methodical of a process, but I'm glad it's that methodical of a process.
And see, you're talking about the turtles. I had a buddy of mine. We didn't ship under the buddy program, yet somehow same recruiter, same recruiting station, and we somehow ended up in the same platoon.
That's awesome.
Not sure how that happened, but whatever. Well, this guy, he had trouble with the running.
Okay.
And the recruiter saw that running was nothing to me. That, whatever. I did my initial strength test in the piss pouring rain.
Yeah.
Out in Hammond. And the Staff Sergeant Vado, he's like, dude, I don't see how you're running that time in the rain. I'm like, I don't, just out for a run. It's second nature to me. But anyway, the recruiter told this kid, he said, dude, if y'all end up in the same platoon, stay on his ass. keep him in sight, and you're going to pass the run. He said, because he's going to be one of the top runners. I can tell you now.
Keep him in sight.
If you can keep him in sight, you will not have a problem passing the running. And he asked me if I was trying to kill him. he legitimately asked me, was I trying to kill him with the runs? I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, as the Marine Corps has been making you faster, turns out they've been putting a throttle on me too.
Yeah, exactly. I told him, that there was one PFT run. It was an individual effort. I'd settled into my stride. Of course, I never started out full throttle. I'd start out about half throttle and just gradually increase. And I would save some leave some in the tank for when I'd come around that last turn, and I could just break out into a dead sprint over that last 100 yards. And I'm running, and it was a cold day that morning. So, you had all the Marines that were in charge of everything. They all had their sweatshirts on with whatever color. I forget what 1st Battalion was. Wasn't it like red or something? Like
the drill instructors wore red in 1st Battalion.
Okay, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah, all the battalion, all the recruits had the same green sweatsuits and different shit like that. But all the instructors had different colors. Yeah,
in exactly. 2nd Battalion, it was yellow with red letters.
That's cool.
True Marine Corps colors. I'm running, and all of a sudden I come up on this one Marine, and I look up and I see the back of his shirt, and I'm like, oh shit, Battalion Sergeant Major. So, whatever. I just side shift and keep on running. And I didn't know there was this one particular person behind me. I don't know if you've ever seen a Marine puke and run at the same time.
No, I've not. You, huh?
Did it. I felt it coming. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, I can't stop running and just let it out. I'm like, how am I going to do this? So I side shifted over to where I'm running on that edge where the pavement meets the grass, and I just cocked my head to the side enough to where I can still use my peripheral vision to see what's going on in front of me, but yet I can go ahead and do what I got to do. And so I just let it rip, and all of a sudden, I'm so glad I tried to do that while I was running, because it turns out my senior drill instructor was like 3 steps behind me. He starts hooting and hollering and whatnot. I'm like, dude, I'm just puking and running. It's not that big of a deal. But I think that was a psychological thing with those runs.
It is. I mean that's the majority of recruit training is that psychological thing, and everything's all mental. It's all in your head, and it's part of building you into this bulletproof warrior. And damn, it works, from the reading of the histories and learning of the legends and having all this Marine Corps knowledge in your head, and then the new terminology for things that brainwashes you into a simpler way of thinking, because a pair of running shoes are now go fasters, because when I have them on I go faster. And whenever they make you say something like that makes you simplify your thinking, you simplify everything. And what movie is that, or TV show where the guy's the best recruit, and he said, I just turn off my mind, I just do what you tell me.
I'm drawing a blank right now.
It's a funny little clip.
I'm drawing a blank right now. But recruit training in general is just a 3-month mind game that never stops.
Yeah.
But you learn things about yourself.
You do.
But
well, I guess the next one we'll jump into a little bit about Pugil sticks and McMap and each individual thing, and we might end up doing a 30-minute deep dive on each segment of the training that you've got, because there's so many stories and so many good parts of it.
Pugil sticks was awesome.
Yeah,
I loved it.
I loved it. I loved it too.
For some reason, it made me the first time we did pugil sticks. I don't know why, but I thought of American Gladiators. I don't even know why.
I know.
That's awesome.
I know exactly why. We'll get into that. You got any words of wisdom?
No, I'm drawing a blank for some reason.
All right, brother. Well, iron sharpens iron, and we'll catch you on the next one.
We now have a moment of silent prayer for those still in the battle, for our departed comrades, for those missing in action, and for those held as prisoners of war.